Next, I'm going to bring up our next speaker. We have an individual here who has been gracious enough to come and share his own personal story for us. Pat Risser represents a group that has the highest rate and incidence of suicide, men in the Middle Ages. He's been a tireless advocate for mental health consumers for more than 25 years, diagnosed in 1973, suffering through many years of mental illness and hospitalizations and suicide attempts. He's here to share his personal story with us today. Thank you very much, Pat. Come on up.
Thank you. I'm Pat Risser, and I'm one of those people who came to in the hospital and thought, damn, I can't even do that right. I felt that deep, soul-crushing despair, that invisible, gut-wrenching agony of wanting to die, of feeling such great pain that I don't think I ever thought of death as dying. All I ever thought of it was no more pain. I just wanted to stop hurting. Sort of like Churchill and his black dog. I want to talk to you about 3 things that helped. I was on a path of self-destruction, and I want to tell you about the 3 things that I believe helped to divert me from that path. William James, I was a philosophy major, one of those strange folks in college, William James said, "I take it that no man is educated who has never dallied with the thought of suicide." I believe that. I believe that those thoughts, those feelings are normal. But we have to figure out how to get past them, through them, not let them be so strong that they take us away. William James also said, "Be not afraid of life. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact." For any of you psychology majors around, that is cognitive therapy in a nutshell. It's considered the best treatment for suicidal behavior. And it came from William James, a man who dabbled himself and fought with thoughts of suicide. So he was a peer. The first thing that helped to divert me from that path, I lay on my couch, literally unable to get up and engage with life. The depression was deep. I was fighting those demons that I knew nothing but despair. And I literally could not get off the couch. And a friend came over, and he physically picked me up and dragged me out of the house and said, "We are going to go engage life." He said, "I cannot, in good conscience, sit by and watch you do this." He took me to automobile races. And the sights, the sounds, the smells, the outdoor sun on my body, my senses were so overwhelmed that I couldn't have my thoughts turned inward onto that despair. I got a break from all of that depth of agony that was going on inside. I had to be focused outside with all of that overwhelming stuff bombarding my senses. It wasn't the cure, but it was a step in the right direction, finding a break, knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not an oncoming train. Lincoln, too, had friends. Lincoln had friends who took his knives and pistols away from him. Lincoln was at one point so afraid to pick up a knife because he thought he would hurt himself, try to end his life if he had a knife. The second thing that helped me was I had a therapist who taught me the difference between feelings and actions. I don't know where I got it. But I've talked to a lot of people who got this weird notion that seems like we have to be somehow congruent in our feelings and our actions. I grew up thinking that if I'm angry, I had to act angry. And if I'm sad, I had to act sad. And if I'm happy, I had to act happy. Otherwise, I'm being phony and not real. So, of course, if I have the suicidal feeling, crap, now I got to go home and take an overdose. What's with that? I mean, I had to, if I was going to be honest as a human being, I thought that my thoughts and my feelings had to somehow be congruent. So I'd go into therapy. I used to tell those therapists, oh, I'm feeling suicidal. And those poor therapists, they just couldn't seem to handle it. They'd panic and lock me up. Finally, I got a therapist who said, wait a minute. Okay, now, if you think you're going to go out and hurt yourself, I've got certain legal obligations, and I got to try and stop that. But welcome to the human race. You're having a feeling. Now, if you think you won't go out and hurt yourself, well, then we can sit and talk about this feeling. And I was like, whoa, really? I didn't know that you could actually do that. I thought if I was feeling suicidal, I had to go act suicidal. Here she was telling me, no, you can have a feeling and you don't have to act that way. I was blown away. We sat and we talked about the feeling, and I felt better. And I realized I could have a loaded gun. I could put it to my head, but if I've got that much control over my body, I don't have to pull the trigger. I can do something else. I can talk about it. I can find help for it. Wow, feelings. Amazing things. And they come and they go. And if you don't like the one you're having now, hang on a while. You'll get another one later, Feelings are... But really, I don't know where it came from, but a lot of people are sort of stuck in that groove. The third thing that helped me was service to others. Get out of yourself. Pay it forward. Be a peer. Be trauma sensitive and invite discussion. Not what's wrong with you. Tell me what happened to you. Tell me what's going on with you. Be that support to somebody else, like the guy who dragged me off the couch. Be that to someone else. I found that giving to others is a way of turning that focus that I have outward, instead of focusing inward on all of that hurt that was going on. It wasn't the cure again, but it was a step, because if I could turn it outward and help somebody else for a little while and put that focus out there, it gave me a break from that hurt that I was feeling inside. And those little breaks add up. It's like a vacation, to have that little break, to not have to have that feeling and that pressure all the time. I could talk so much more, but I want to tell you, go to a comedy club with some friends. Have a few good belly laughs. It's not the cure, but I contend you cannot hold on to those suicidal feelings while you're having a belly laugh. I don't think it's possible. Lay on the floor with some puppies or kittens. Honest to God, if you can feel that emotional hurt while puppies are licking your face, you're hurting more than I could ever imagine. Play with a baby. I don't know how we can hold a newborn baby and not feel hope. I think it's part of the human condition. And know that these things that I offer today, the agony, the hurt, the pain, the despair, you can make it through. I haven't given you any cures, any answers. I don't have any. Certainly not for anybody else. I struggle to find my own. But it's true, one day at a time, and if not that, 1 hour at a time, and if not that, 1 minute at a time, and if not that, 1 moment at a time. Keep breathing, keep hope, because there's somebody who cares about you, and there's other people that you need to care about. Thank you.
Wow, Pat, that was really amazing. Thank you for your courage and your strength and your advocacy for so many, and for all of those incredible tips that you gave to all of us. We have a question here that I wanted to pose to you. Out of all the things you talked about that helped you the most, when you sit here today and hear all the things that the federal partners are doing and the state partners are doing, what would you want them to know? You talked about what would help the person who's really hurting. What would you want the rest of us in the room to know? They're going to develop all these action plans.
Let somebody know that you're hurting. Let somebody... My friend couldn't have dragged me off the couch if I hadn't let him in the door. Let somebody know, and let somebody in that door, and to partner with you in finding a way out of that hole.
And what about the federal people that are here, the people that work for the government? What would you tell them?
Oh, they're doing the right things. Richard said, engaging those of us who've been in that depths of despair and asking us what worked, what helped. By engaging those people who've been there and been on that path, we can more readily articulate those things that have helped to divert us from that path of self-destruction. And that's why the peer support is so important. Somebody who's been through it can offer so much to help another person down the road. I mean, that service to others is very important.
Great. Thank you again.
Thank you
very much. All right, we are going to keep moving along with our agenda. Yes, you can clap if you'd like to clap for him.